Welcome back. You're still watching Daybreak on this 10th day of March 2025. And in studio, I have Nelson Koech from Belgut Constituency, Chairman, Defense, Foreign Relations and National Intelligence Committee. Good morning.
Good morning, Salman Kenyans.
Robert Mboy is the Member of Parliament for Kathiani Constituency, Deputy Minority Leader at the National Assembly. Good morning.
Morning, Salman. Good morning, viewers.
And Senator Eddie Okech, are you the chair now or not yet?
The chair of?
Transport Committee or not yet?
Yes, I am the chair of Transport, Roads and Housing.
The last time we spoke here, you were not. You were complaining about being a first-timer and people saying that...
Yeah, I was pushing my way to becoming one because in Parliament, the members of Parliament who feel like they are ranking members or senior members don't feel okay for first-timers to be able to own positions in Parliament and to occupy those positions and be able to guide.
Yes.
So I was complaining about that attitude in Parliament.
So how did you make it that now you're chair?
I campaigned.
To who?
To members of my committee.
Is that so?
That's true.
So the decision came from the members of the committee?
Yes.
And what happened to Kenya Kwanza? Because they are the majority in the committee, aren't they?
What happened to Kenya Kwanza?
Because they are the majority in the committee.
They are members of Kenya Kwanza in the committee.
That's what I'm saying. Ordinarily, the seat would go to the majority side. How did that work?
No, that's actually a simplistic view of Parliament.
No. You know how it works.
I questioned you the other time that is there a possibility that in a country like ours, we can have one party win all seats in Parliament.
So how many members are in a committee at the Senate?
9 members.
9 members.
Yes.
So 5 ordinarily come from Kenya Kwanza.
Yes,
right?
and 4 from
Azimio.
Azimio. Yes.
So that's what I'm asking. How did you convince?
Do you want me to tell you the number of people who showed up?
Okay, go ahead. If you like.
So I convinced the members of the committee to vote for me, and I'm pretty confident. And I gave you an example.
No, I'm not doubting that. I'm just wondering what happened this time that it didn't happen in 2022 just as soon as you...
I wasn't a member of that committee. In 2022, I was a member of what we call CPIC, which is a watchdog committee.
Yeah.
And I was also a member of Finance and Budget. And I did not express my interest in any of this. But if you remember last year in the Senate, 2022 in the Senate, there's a committee that is perceived to be a committee for the minority side, what we call PAC.
Yeah.
I think you know that is a watchdog committee. And when Senator Cherargei and Senator Kajwang presented themselves, even despite the fact that we had got a heightened and high voltage politics between Kenya Kwanza and Azimio, Senator Cherargei got elected as the vice chair, and Senator Kajwang got elected as the majority. So sometimes, as the chair, sometimes the way Parliament works is not necessarily what...
I like your illustrations. Different illustrations for the question that I've asked. But
but like right now, I combined efforts together with Senator Lelegwe, and we campaigned together, and we won.
All right.
So just for the record, my vice chair is Senator Lelegwe, who is the deputy whip of the Senate.
Deputy whip of the Senate?
Yes.
Which side?
Majority whip, yes.
Majority whip?
Yes.
Okay. So I was just saying good morning. Daily Nation...
But you didn't give me a chance to say good morning to our viewers. It's getting to that cold season, so it's very hard to wake up in the morning. And if our viewers have woken up to really see how we are talking about the issue affecting our country, it's worth appreciating them. So good morning to all Kenyans who are tuned in to view this conversation this morning.
All right, and it's great to have you. Senator John Methu will be joining us shortly. He's the Senator of Nyandarua County. This morning on the Daily Nation, how e-citizen owners defied State House. Shortly after being sworn in, President Ruto summoned owners of Webmasters Kenya Limited to a meeting at State House where one message was perfectly clear. The company hands over the e-citizen platform to government and abandons any monetary claims as the firm had paid itself enough for nearly 8 years. In January 2023, Gold Rock and Webmasters dropped their suit, but more than 2 years later, Webmasters and its sister firms are still operating e-citizens. You see the story on page 4 of the Daily Nation. You see then there's some protest there. Occupy Jesus Winner is the hashtag. Police officers run after demonstrators who are moving towards Bishop Edward Moy's Jesus Winner Ministry Church in Roysambu, Nairobi, yesterday during a protest organized online under the Occupy Jesus Winner hashtag. This is after President Ruto donated 20 million shillings and promised a further 100 million shillings for an upcoming construction fundraiser at the church. Then inside the paper, you see angry youth heckle Raila and Kisii over handshake with President. Nyoro from Ruto insider to casualty of Gachagua fallout. Friends are turning into foes as the 2027 general election realignments take shape, with Kiharu MP's fate signaling the volatility of the political landscape. Mheshimiwa Koech, has the decision been made that Ndindi Nyoro will not be chair budget?
That decision has not, like Honorable Eddie was trying to explain.
Yeah.
All committees in Parliament, Honorable Mburu is aware because he's in the leadership, are going for elections this week.
Yeah.
Mine, as a chairman of Defense, Intelligence and Foreign Relations, for instance, came to an end, and we shall be conducting our elections on Thursday this week. Mm-hmm. So all of us are out there campaigning from our members for re-election. There is no particular position that has been taken. We will recall that we had a PG as a Kenya Kwanza in State House towards the end of the week. No discussion on who should take what leadership was came up, and it means that everyone is going to campaign. So Ndindi Nyoro is still, to my understanding, still campaigning, and members will decide if they will re-elect him as the chairman.
Is he?
I'm sure he's going to offer himself. I mean, we don't know yet because the forms are yet to be picked by those who want to run. I don't know if he's going to contest.
And yourself? Are you campaigning?
I'm campaigning very seriously. Okay. I have confidence that...
but what does that entail, campaigning?
My members will elect. It means it's just like any other election. So the person who has a majority of the vote, assuming two forms are picked, assuming two are going to run against each other, of course the one who has the most will be picked as the chairman. And then, of course, another one will pick the form.
I'm asking that question because I saw the leader of minority, Junet Mohammed, sending letters to members within his, I believe, coalition and telling people that these are the decisions that have been made, that in this committee, especially Budget and Appropriations Committee, the chairperson is supposed to be attendees.
Parties do make suggestions. But it is not, they don't necessarily count when the counting happens. Because, as a party, you have a position and you say, this is the person that we would like to chair the committee. But sometimes it does not necessarily mean that is a person who will be picked. It depends on the members of that committee.
Okay.
I remember in last parliament, there was, I think it was the Environment Committee that they were subjected to an election. And you will remember Honorable Kangogo Bowen, even though he had not been picked as the chairman, went ahead to win. And there had to be some sort of negotiations to have him.
So there's no Kenya Kwanza party position on chairmanship of Budget Committee? Not
at this point, no.
What do you mean at this point? So
up to this point, there has not been any communication on who is needed anyway. There was a general communication that was given by the clerk of the National Assembly on when all committees.
So you didn't discuss this during the parliamentary meeting?
We did not. And we are going for election this week. So, it's...
So what did you discuss at the PG?
I didn't attend because right now we are sitting in as liaison. Liaison, there is no budget committee. So we are looking at, as liaison committees, those are the chairmen of departmental committees are now looking at the budgets, BPS. This morning, actually, after the issue, we'll be retreating again to look at the supplementary budget because there is no budget committee. So we have to look at that because these are processes that have statutory timelines, constitutional timelines rather. So I didn't attend, but I gathered that the discussion merely revolved around what was happening, the MOU that was being signed that morning or afternoon with Honorable Raila Odinga, the Right Honorable Raila Odinga, the former Prime Minister, And I think the president wanted to bring up to speed the members on what was being discussed, what we anticipate with this MOU, and so on and so forth. And asking members to join also for the ceremony that happened in KICC.
Okay. All right. That's fine. Senator John Mathew is in the house. He'll be joining us shortly. But Mheshimiwa Mbui, so a letter coming from the minority leader that you deputize, and this is written to who? Let me see. It's addressed to all members. I believe this is in the minority party, saying that these are the persons that should be leading these committees. Is it binding?
You know, I don't know. I sit here many times and I get a bit disappointed because we all know the reality. We all know what happens. And so many times you're trying to sugarcoat these things. The reality is this, that the executive, after elections, will always try and figure out the members that they would want to chair committees on their behalf. And the reason is very simple, because sometimes it's better to just go to the truth. The reason is sometimes they will be looking at the competence of these members. Sometimes they'll also be looking at the loyalty of these members. Sometimes they'll also be looking at the regional balance. So that, for example, one community doesn't end up chairing all committees. So it's really not left to members. Ideally, the ideal situation is that members go and elect whoever they want. But the reality on the ground is that every executive will always, even the opposition or the minority, will always try and make sure that they influence so that they can get the members to chair the committees that they want. That's basically what happens. So even in this case, and I'm happy that Honorable Koech has talked about last parliament. Last parliament, the Honorable Alfred Keter ran for election in a committee he was not designated to chair. He won. Honorable Tiren went for elections in agriculture committee. He wasn't designated to run. He won. And what happened is that the members of those committees were actually summoned to State House. And they came into State House and signed their displeasure of their own people that they elected. So because it didn't go to what the executive had wanted, the executive in its own regional balancing had proposed those committees to be chaired by other people. So it's the same thing. It happens in the majority, it happens in the minority. So in essence, even now the committees, there are some committees that would ordinarily be chaired by people from the majority side because there are more. But out of this MOU arrangement, they have already been designated to be chaired by people or members from the minority side. And this is an arrangement. And a member from the majority cannot even if they attempt to vie, they will probably not get the votes. And incidentally, Sam, I will tell you this. If someone attempts to vie for chairmanship of a committee that is not designated to be their position, they will be de-whipped immediately from that committee. Even by the time the elections are held, a letter will be at the Speaker's office indicating that this person is no longer a member of that committee. So the person will not even be able to vie. That is how harsh it is. So the reality is that it is controlled, not by the individual members, but by the leadership of the coalitions.
And so are you agreed on what the minority leader shared?
Incidentally, we never had any meeting. We've not had a meeting of the minority side to decide these things. This is something that was, decisions were made elsewhere. Whatever the decisions were made, I also saw the letter.
You're Junet Mohammed's deputy.
Oh, well. For all intents and purposes, it's a very difficult situation, Sam. I mean, every Kenyan knows that ODM and UDA are in an arrangement. Wiper is not part of that arrangement. So there's many things they'll be discussing and I'll not know. Even when changes were being made to committee, positions, membership into committees, I had absolutely no way of knowing what was going on, despite the office that I hold. It's unfortunate, but that's a reality.
So who knew?
It is the leader of the minority and the whip. Those are the ones that were making those decisions.
How do your offices work?
You should ask how they are supposed to work. Now, how they work is a strange new situation. It's a phenomena that is unusual. I mean, Sam, what happens in this country is shocking. I mean, I think we should be a study case for the world on how not to do politics. Democracy has completely been thrown out the window, and what is going on is things I don't know. I came into politics knowing that this is a democratic country. We'll be going for an election. After the election, we can deal with those. Even if there's any problem at the election time, we'll deal with it and then we can move on. Yeah. But we never move on. Some we have, from 2013, we never move on. We're always stuck in the same place, in the same rut. And I mean, Kenya should be a case study for the world.
And now that the instructions are quite clear that your members within the Budget and Appropriations Committee will have to vote for Sam Atandi as the chairperson, that Trade, Industry and Cooperatives will have to vote Bernard Shinali as the chairperson, Special Funds Accounts Committee's chairperson will have to be Mohamed Fatuma Zainab. So what should members of your party do?
Members of my party, we've not given them a position. Incidentally, the people that have been proposed to be the chairs will be the only candidates. I've just told you that if you attempt to bid for a position that you are not supposed to, you can be de-whipped. De-whipping is just a simple letter from the whip. So just saying that so and so is no longer a member.
Will be the only candidate from the minority.
If you attempt to pick the papers to vie, see the papers are picked from an office in Parliament. Immediately you pick the papers, it's known you've picked them. A letter will be written and you'll be de-whipped. You will no longer be a member of the committee by the time the elections are held. So you cannot take that risk.
The side of minority. How about the majority?
Even the majority, you will be de-whipped.
Present himself.
If he's not supposed to be the chair, he shouldn't bother. If he does that, he might end up losing his position or slot in that committee. It's that bad.
What do you mean if he's not supposed to?
If he's not, because if there's a position that has been taken, and the position that has been taken is that this chairmanship of Budget Committee will be in the hands of the minority party, and the minority party has settled on the Honorable Sam Atandi, then Ndindi Nyoro will be ill-advised to attempt to put his bid there. Because once the decision is made, if there's a possibility that he might even win, then he can easily be de-whipped from that committee. And that's how dangerous it is. So for me, I would ask that...
He says no position has been taken.
No. He doesn't want to say. You know, that's this thing of being truthful. And we've seen a lot in this set, by the way, because we say things that we know are not true. And we do it immediately after Sunday. I don't want to sin today. I was in church yesterday. I still want to...
Parties do prevail on members when they do not want you to contest a particular position, particularly that of chairman. And I like the way he's put it, so that there is a regional representation and every party and community feel represented in parliament. So if there's a feeling of the particular party or minority or majority that this position should go a certain way, then they prevail on those members that they do not want them to chair those positions. And that is exactly what is going to happen. That is negotiation.
So you're saying it hasn't happened?
Sorry?
It hasn't happened?
It hasn't happened.
Okay.
Yeah, in fact, up to yesterday, I was engaging on the Ndindi Nyoro.
Has the decision been made on whether you're going to present your candidature or not?
My members have confidence in me.
No.
Many of them have.
Has the position about whether you will present your candidature or not?
I wouldn't know if it has been done, to be honest, but
who makes that decision?
Up to this morning, most members expressed confidence in my leadership. And
how do you know that?
They did express on my WhatsApp group that they wouldn't want myself and my vice chair subjected to an election, and they just proposed.
So who makes that decision when it's made?
Members do make the decision.
No, I'm asking.
Oh,
you just said...
But they are, you know, in Kenya, there are party owners. There are people who own the party.
So who are those?
ODM, you know, there's a
Sorry,
structure.
Let's talk about UDA. Who makes the decision?
For UDA, the party leadership makes the decision.
Who's that?
That goes all the way to the president. Because this is his...
So the president makes decisions on who will chair what committee?
There's a majority leader that also looks at how parliament operates. And I think at that point there is consultation between the party structures and our majority leader on who should be where. And I think it is at that view. Majority leader has a better view of our performance in parliament.
Majority leader?
Yes.
And the president?
I will say the party and the party.
Please, why are you reversing yourself?
You know, the president is a very big office to bring into.
No, you just told me right now, less than a minute ago,
coincidentally,
that the decision is made.
Coincidentally, for our case, the president is also the party leader. So, of course, there has to be such consultation on any decision that the majority leader will make. Like
so for you to chair the Defense and Foreign Relations Committee, the president would have to be comfortable with it.
You should be comfortable with it. You will remember when we were...
So this is not a decision of the members, as he tells us then?
No. I just say the members will still have to make a vote. But I'm saying
to formalize
there are a lot of horse trading in between that happens. Yeah. You'll remember, even when we came into this parliament, at the onset of this parliament, we had a retreat in Naivasha. And that is where we all agreed on
decisions are made at that level.
We agreed on Osoro being the chief.
Then they are ratified.
And it was consensus. And then it comes to an election now, because that is the process on how it should happen.
So it's ratified at the Assembly?
Yes, it is ratified at the Assembly.
Okay. Senator John Methu, good morning.
Good morning, my brothers. I'm sorry that I came in late. And it'll be a bit difficult for new dwellers when it is rain. So you're not able to get our way around here, but I'm happy to be here. And if I was to...
Surely said it. But Karibu Sana, we are talking about the developments in Parliament, and I don't know what your take is, especially on the decisions that are being made last week, the previous week, and perhaps this week before National Assembly takes recess. I don't know if Senate is taking recess as well, in decisions of committee leadership.
Maybe as you congratulated Senator Eddie, you needed also to commiserate with myself, because I'm no longer chairman. The last time I was with you here, I was a chairman, and I'm no longer chairman. And the reason why Honorable Nelson Koech is struggling with what he's saying is because he's dishonest. He's not telling the truth. I have been a chairman of the party, of a committee in Parliament.
Yep.
And for him to be the chairman of the Committee on Defense, he first have to be a member. So a decision has already been made that he has to be a member. If he was not a member of that committee, he cannot run.
Sure.
Like for me to lose my chairmanship position of the Committee on Lands, Environment and Natural Resources, they first de-whipped me as a member. There was no way I would run in that particular committee.
Yes.
And what both Senator Eddie and Senator Koech are saying is actually not true. For all the elections that have happened at the Senate, for all the committees that have been there at the Senate, as Honorable Mbui has actually aptly put it, the elections have not been contested. His election as chairman was not contested, because these are issues that have been agreed upon. It will be foolhardy to imagine that Nelson Koech will not be the chairman of the Committee on Security just because he says that members have confidence in him. It is not necessarily that members have confidence in him. His party leader and his party leader for this case.
And your party leader.
And my party leader, because I'm in that party, has confidence in him, and we retain him in that particular committee. And let me also say this. The decision of who chairs what is not really a decision of the members. What Honorable Mbui is struggling to tell you is that in this election that we had at the Senate, some members had confidence in some people and they wanted to elect them. The leader of majority wrote on our platform, those of you who are engaging rebels and the opposition, we shall de-whip you from those particular committees. So you actually know that even if you are to run, and that is why I can tell you straight on the face, Ndindi Nyoro is not meant
Is that a statement of fact?
It's a statement of fact.
Rebels and?
And the opposition. It's something that I can be able to provide to you as we go on. But most importantly, I can tell you without of confidence, Ndindi Nyoro will not be the chairman of the Committee on Budget. He will not even pick his nomination paper. I may not have the fact to elucidate the fact that even members who have been former members of that committee, those who have been retained because they are those who have lost their positions at that particular committee, they have very strict instructions that this person, we as a team, in terms of making the broad-based arrangement work, we have settled on Sam Atani to be the chairman of this particular committee. So what will happen next week or this week when the elections are coming is just a rubber stamp of what have already been agreed. There is a list upon which the chairman of the Committee on Defense will be Nelson Koech, the chairman committee on this, the chairman committee on this, the chairman committee on this. It was known in the Senate. You knew it even before we casted our votes. I am a member of the Education Committee. Even members of the Education Committee have been told. In fact, Eddie was standing in for a member of our committee when we were doing our elections for the chair of the Committee on Education. The leadership was there. Senator Adama was there, he's not a member of that committee. Senator Lelegui was there, was not a member of the committee, so that they confirm and they affirm that the position that have been taken will be effected. So, do
you have a problem with that and how things are working?
I don't have a problem with that.
So it's okay?
I may not have a problem with that because, as they say, even when I was chairman, I became chairman because my party leader thought I can be a good chairman, and parties have owners. So William Ruto and his party, they will agree that these are the people that we want. So I don't think there will be a problem with that.
In a democracy, a constitutional democracy, that's okay?
It is not okay because the way even our standing orders have been made, a committee of 9 members, especially a departmental committee, we have 5 from the majority party. So it was initially thought that committees, apart from the oversight committees, will be led by the members of the majority coalition or the majority party. It does not look very neat that a minority like Senator Eddie is leading a committee that has a majority. Not because members voted for him because they believed in him, but because politically he's now correct. He's now the correct person, so he can be able to chair that particular committee. But that, just as Senator Honorable Boya said, it is our way of politics. That is how our politics have been made to look like. Maybe the only small problem that I would have, especially with the arrangement at the Senate, and if you would allow me, I would just jump to the next limb of my argument. When the coalition and the cooperation between President William Ruto and Raila Odinga was signed on Friday at KICC, and they came to the steps of inside there, outside there, they kept mentioning that this now signs off the end of tribalism. This is now the end of tribalism.
Can you talk about that after the break? Because I need to take one as we get into what is inside the deal between Raila Odinga and William Ruto, the president. Stay tuned. We're back in a moment.